8:45. This is a Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. Vehicular traffic and movement have been restricted in the Colombo city limit due to the Independence Day celebrations. The outgoing ambassador for the Kingdom of Thailand makes a farewell call on Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. Sri Lanka kicks off COVID-19 inoculation drive. Over 5,200 frontline health workers and members of the Triforces vaccinated for COVID-19 today. 963 more recoveries reported in Sri Lanka. The Anuradhapura District Development Committee discussed many issues today and has taken effective measures to remedy them. 3 timekeepers at the Peta Bastian Mawatha private bus depot have been arrested in connection of ransom collection. In news overseas, COVID, EU publishers disputed AstraZeneca COVID jab contract. And in sports news, in soccer, Romain Sawyer's West Brom report alleged racist abuse of midfielder to the police. Those were the headlines, and now we move on to the details of the local news. The outgoing ambassador of the Kingdom of Thailand, Her Excellency Mrs. Chulamani Chutswan, and Mr. Kanchana Pyapatkun, councillor to the embassy, met Prime Minister at his residence in Vijayarama this morning. The ambassador thanked the Prime Minister and the government for the support she received throughout her tenure. She said she believed that her successor would enjoy the same support she received over the years and have a productive working relationship with the government. Discussing a new pending matters between the two nations, the ambassador highlighted an investment by Thailand in a project to develop a sugar factory in Vavuniya and the extension of the strategic economic partnership agreement between both nations. The Prime Minister assured the ambassador of continued support of the government of Sri Lanka on expediting both matters. The Prime Minister wished the outgoing ambassador the very best in all her future endeavours and thanked her for the continued support and friendship of the Kingdom of Thailand. Honourable Ajit Niwad Cabral, State Minister of Money, Capital Market and State Enterprises Reformed, joined the Prime Minister at this meeting. 3 military personnel have received the first jab of Oxford AstraZeneca Covishield vaccine in Sri Lanka at the Army Hospital in Colombo. Sri Lanka kicked off the vaccine drive against COVID-19 at 8 hospitals in the Western Province this morning, namely Colombo National Hospital, Colombo North Teaching Hospital, Colombo South Teaching Hospital, Homagama Base Hospital, Colombo East Base Hospital, Infectious Diseases Hospital, Army Hospital and Lady Ridgeway Hospital for children. The program is expected to begin at the provinces from tomorrow, the 30th of January. Dr. Ananda Vijay Vikrama became the first medical officer in the country to be vaccinated against COVID-19. He was administered the jab at the IDH. The second health worker to receive the vaccine was Special Grade Nursing Officer Geethani Udukum Korala. The launch of the program officially commenced at the IDH this morning with the participation of the State Minister of Primary Healthcare, Epidemics and COVID Diseases Control, Dr. Sudarshani Fernandopulle, Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Mr. Gopal Bagle and other officials. The vaccine consignment arrived from India and was ceremoniously handed over to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa by the Indian High Commissioner yesterday. The vaccines were taken to the Central Vaccine Store in Colombo before being distributed to the 8 hospitals. Around 150,000 health workers, 120,000 members of the Triforces, police and the security forces who are at the front line of COVID-19 prevention operations will be the first to be administered the vaccine on priority basis. 5,286 people of various sectors received COVID-19 vaccine today, out of which more than 2,280 health workers who are at the front line of COVID-19 pandemic in Sri Lanka have been administered the Oxford AstraZeneca's Covishield vaccine today, says the Chief Epidemiologist Dr. Sudat Samaravira. Members of Sri Lanka Army also received the vaccination at 10 different centres. Sri Lanka officially rolled out the COVID-19 inoculation drive this morning at the Army Hospital in Colombo as 3 Army personnel were first to be administered the vaccine. The Health Ministry also stated that no one is affected adversely from the vaccination. Individuals who receive the vaccination are in good condition. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka Navy also received a stock of AstraZeneca vaccine today. The vaccination process was conducted at the Valisara Naval Hospital. The naval officers worked in the front line of COVID-19 prevention activities are given priority in this process. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And we continue with more local news. The Ministry of Health says that another 963 patients who were previously tested positive for COVID-19 have recovered and were discharged from the hospital within the last 24 hours. This brings the total number of COVID-19 recoveries in the country to 55,398. Meanwhile, the number of new cases reported over the last 24 hours is 892, and 7 COVID-19 related deaths were also confirmed during this period. A total of 61,586 cases of coronavirus have been reported in Sri Lanka so far, while 5,891 of them are currently under medical care. Sri Lanka's total death toll due to the virus stands at 297. 3 timekeepers at the Peta Bastian Mawatha private bus depot have been arrested in connection with the ransom collection. Chairman of the Western Province Passenger Transportation Authority, W. Prasanna Sanjeeva, said that the suspects were arrested after closely observing their movements and handling the private buses. They have been accused of charging 100 rupees per bus crossing this timekeeping hub. The Anuradhapura District Development Committee discussed many issues today and has taken effective measures to remedy them. The discussion focused on many issues, including irrigation facilities, human-elephant conflict, and wildlife conservation. The problem relating to irrigation facilities to cultivation lands has also been solved. The UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres received his first dose of COVID-19 vaccine today at Adlai E. Stevenson High School in the Bronx, a few miles uptown of UN headquarters in New York. In a tweet, Mr. Guterres expressed his gratitude and good fortune at receiving the jab and urged the international community to ensure that vaccine becomes available to everyone on an equitable basis. With this pandemic, none of us are safe until all of us are safe, he wrote. The 71-year-old Mr. Guterres was eligible to receive the vaccine on the basis of his age. New York residents over the age of 65 are included in the current phase of the vaccination in the city, which also includes school workers, first responders, public transit workers, and grocery workers. It is reported that 101 professors from 3 universities who went on education tours to foreign countries have not returned so far. The government has spent about 2,900 million rupees for this purpose. These individuals have gone abroad in the year 2011, citing reasons like following the postgraduate course and MPhil courses. The government had to spend another 900 million rupees for their logistics. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. Vehicular traffic and movement have been restricted in the Colombo city limit due to the Independence Day celebrations. The outgoing ambassador of the Kingdom of Thailand makes a farewell call on Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. Sri Lanka kicks off COVID-19 inoculation drive. Over 5,200 frontline health workers and members of the Triforces vaccinated for COVID-19 today. More than 963 recoveries reported in Sri Lanka. The Anuradhapura District Development Committee discussed many issues today and has taken effective measures to remedy them. 3 timekeepers at the Peta Bastian Mawatha private bus depot have been arrested in connection with ransom collection. And that was the local news.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The main news story for tonight, vehicular traffic and movement have been restricted in the Colombo city limit due to the Independence Day celebrations. Police media spokesman DIG Ajit Rohana requested the motorists to use alternative routes to reach their destination. This will be effective from tomorrow for 5 days. The road from Boralla to Nelumpokuna Arts Theatre has been closed. As an alternative, the motorists could travel through Horton Place to Vijayarama Mawatha, and from there they could reach Ward Place. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And in Washla tonight, the residents and motorists complain that sudden excavation and road work in the Pamankada Road and adjoining WAD Silva Mavata in the Velavata area has caused many hardships. This has caused immense difficulties not only to the local motorists but also to other outside vehicles. As a result, a traffic congestion is seen at this place every day during peak hours. The residents are also clueless about the real cause for this sudden excavation work. This is for the attention of the RDA, City Traffic Police and the Colombo Municipal Council. And that came to you in Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Headlines of the world news. COVID, EU publishers disputed AstraZeneca COVID-19 jab contract. Sindhu borders, violence at farmers' protest site in Delhi. Asian investors inspired by GameStop surge. Those are the headlines, and now we move on to the details of the world news. The European Commission has published its contract with the drug maker AstraZeneca for its COVID vaccine amid a row over supplies. The move came hours after Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen increased pressure on the company over its decision to reduce the supplies to the EU. The contract signed in August contained binding orders, she told the German radio, and called for explanation. The vaccine is expected to be approved by the EU medicines regulator later. UK Swedish AstraZeneca is blaming production delays at 2 plants. Violence has been reported at one of the sites in India's capital Delhi, where farmers are protesting against agricultural reforms. Clashes broke out at the Sindhu border, where a group of unidentified men reportedly approached the farmers and told them to leave the area. Some farmers and policemen have been injured in the clashes. Tens of thousands of farmers have been camping in protest at Delhi's borders for more than a month. Shares of Malaysia's Top Glove surged almost 8% on Friday as retail investors in Asia drew inspiration from the GameStop trading frenzy. In a new Reddit forum called Bursa Bets has been set up, describing itself as a Malaysian version of Wall Street Bets. The Wall Street Bets forum fueled by GameStop share price surge this week. Top Glove is the world's largest producer of latex gloves but has been hit by a COVID-19 outbreak at one of its factories and labor abuse allegations. And to conclude the world news, the headlines once again. COVID, EU publishers disputed AstraZeneca COVID jab contract. Sindhu border, violence at farmers' protest site in Delhi. Asian investors inspired by GameStop surge. And that was the world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
In development news, Dhanusha Marine Lanka Exports Private Limited, one of the largest exporters in the boat and shipbuilding industry in Sri Lanka, exported their first 20-meter multi-day fishing vessel, FV Ocean Harvest, for Ocean Harvest Limited in Mauritius, which has successfully sailed to Mauritius recently. Meanwhile, Minister Dalasalas has promised that more than 1,200 small-scale solar power panels will be set up in the Kurunegala district to generate 100 kilowatts of power. The necessary transformers for this purpose have been identified. The district residents have only 753 solar panels so far. This will be increased in the future, the minister added. With that, we move on to sports news. West Bromwich Albion have contacted the police over an alleged racist message sent to midfielder Romain Sawyers. West Brom said abhorrent message was sent to Sawyers on social media during the loss to Manchester City. They have called on for the toughest available legal punishment and will ban the individual responsible from the Hawthorns for life. That was the sports news. Business news coming up.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
In business news, a research report published by HSBC Global Research last December expects Sri Lanka GDP to grow by 7% year-on-year in the year 2021, largely due to the base effects, since they estimated a 5% drop in GDP during the year 2020. New president of the National Chamber of Commerce in Sri Lanka, Nandika Buddhipala, told the 22nd AGM at the Kingsbury Hotel recently. This report predicted that Sri Lanka should bounce back impressively. This will be the biggest upgrade to their forecast. Mainland China, Taiwan, Vietnam and Korea as well as Sri Lanka have been seen among the fastest increase in shipments, with others lagging the recovery. That was the business news. Economic news follows.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic News. Courtesy of...
Congratulations on your promotion. When will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And in economic news, the Bank of Ceylon, in its mission to assist the government's initiative to empower Sri Lanka through digital technology, is joining with the customers awareness campaign of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Lanka QR digital platform. Bank of Ceylon had its most recent major awareness programs in Borella and Maharagama, along with the other branches in the Colombo district, in line with the Central Bank's main program held at Diathuyana, with the participation of all Lanka QR certified banks on the same day. Central Bank of Sri Lanka has organized a series of awareness and promotion campaigns for popularizing Lanka QR, with the participation of all Lanka QR certified financial institutions throughout the country, with the aim of speeding up the custom adaptation process towards digital banking. That was economic news, and the weather report to conclude.
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down, everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And finally, the weather report. The Met Department says showery condition is expected to enhance over the northern, north central, eastern and over provinces and in the Matale district during the next few days. Showers or thunder showers will occur at a few places in the Sabaragamuwa province and in the Galle and Matara districts after 2 p.m. This weather report was published this evening at 7:30 p.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. And before we conclude this bulletin of news, let's get back to the headlines once again. Vehicular traffic and movement have been restricted in the Colombo city limit due to the Independence Day celebrations. The outgoing ambassador of the Kingdom of Thailand makes a farewell call on Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. Sri Lanka kicks off COVID-19 inoculation drive. Over 5,200 frontline health workers and members of the drive forces vaccinated for COVID-19 today. 963 more recoveries reported in Sri Lanka. The Anuradhapura District Development Committee discussed many issues today and has taken effective measures to remedy them. 3-time keepers at the Peta Bastian Mawatha private bus depot have been arrested in connection with the ransom collection. In news overseas, COVID, EU publishers disputed AstraZeneca COVID jab contract. And in sports news, Romain Sawyers, West Brom report alleged racist abuse of midfielder to the police. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news.